If this. Yes, it works. All right. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Dead After Dark. Tonight I'm joined by Mr. Irate Prostate, and we're going to be finishing the second half of The Man Who Laughs from 1928. We might be joined by a hamster later, but I'm not entirely sure he's awake.
Hello, people.
No one's watching as of right now, but that's okay. So you haven't seen this movie yet, have you?
No, I haven't. No, but as you can tell by my avatar, I kind of have a thing for Lon Chaney too. From a distance, I only read about him and stuff, and I've really never seen any of his real movies. I've seen stills, so I'm really familiar with his work. He inspired me to become a makeup artist, and as a little kid, I did a lot of in a young adult too, and I've been known to do it still from this day. Playing with my face.
That's awesome. I've never been very good with makeup. I normally just do some basic things, a little eyeliner, a little lipstick, and, out the door. So.
Exactly.
Apparently, according to Mad Metal Man, everything sounds good. I'm gonna believe him. So, let's start the movie. This is the second half of a nearly 2-hour long movie. It's an hour and 50 minutes. So.
Can you imagine like doing like a silent film sitting, with, I guess they had a guy playing piano and stuff and just, reading, the movie sitting, and they just had regular chairs too, like folding chairs and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Or standing room only.
So.
I think there's some theaters, especially like some of the older ones in Chicago that aren't standing anymore, where down in the front it would only be standing. So for 2 hours you'd be standing and watching whatever vaudeville performers were there, or later on movies, but usually performers. But for hours, could you imagine just standing for hours watching a play?
Good Lord.
That's insane. The actress they have for this is very, very pretty as well.
That looks great. It's great quality.
I'm surprised sometimes a lot of these old films didn't make it into modernity just because they weren't kept properly. This one.
Well, it was the silver nitrate that the actual film was made of. I mean, and the cellulose, the combination of the two, that cellulose it's actually edible. If you could separate the silver nitrate from it, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's it's an extract of plants, and that stuff just kind of melts after a while.
Yes.
And they were poorly kept. They didn't treat them. If they would have kept, if they would have been preserved in in a very dry environment, cool. But of course that wasn't the case, and a lot of stuff got burnt down. I can't remember what studio it was, but it was burned.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. There we go with our main character.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of Mr. Sardonicus from the 60s.
I haven't quite gotten to the 60s in my study of old films yet. I'm working my way forward.
So, all right. So did he have this chick kidnapped or something?
Oh God, let me remember. I believe this is the Baroness or the lady. Okay. Mad Metal Man can correct me if I'm wrong.
Is she gonna pull the old mask pull?
I love the way that he just you can tell he's uncomfortable by this and doesn't even need to say a darn thing.
Yeah, he really acts really well with his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Which is important considering half his face is currently covered.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's and no words. He's not able to use his voice for inflection or anything. Everything's expressed. He's excited. He's happy, and he's terrified she'll tear the mask off. I mean, I can see every bit of that in his face. Oh shit! Did she faint?
No,
Man,
I think
man.
she's into it.
She's into it, dude.
And then on occasion when it's not able to be expressed, then they have it shown in the cards. But yes, that is the lady. I've been trying to remember where I left it off because hamster's quite distracting on occasion, and I lost my place at some point.
Okay, so this chick's got the hots for him.
She does.
Ah.
She's. I think she was intrigued by having a lover that's so ugly.
Kind of an interesting kink.
Right.
What is that, a knife?
I can't tell.
Or a dildo? And he's like thinking the same thing.
I think he.
He's like, she's not going to stick that in my butt, is she?
Oh, it's a letter. So that's like a
Um,
type of
a papyrus or a scroll?
It's like a message system, one of those things with a tube, and you send the message up.
Oh, yeah, pneumatic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they do at banks and stuff with
I'm sure that was
the
very trendy technology in 1928.
yes, it was. They used it up through the late 30s. Um, it was like the whole systems of these tubes ran through office buildings and stuff.
Much more.
Good catch.
The downside was a lot of them weren't built properly, and sometimes they'd get jammed with things.
Oh yeah, like critters. Speaking of hamsters,
Oh.
um, yeah, rats and stuff would die in there, and
Oh God, could you imagine being maintenance for that? It's like, there's a smell. Oh God, which tube is it? What died in
dude,
what tube?
when every time I open my tube mail, it smells horrible, man. Hmm. So who is Ann R? Ooh, indeed.
Would be quite funny to voice this over, especially this scene.
Yeah, there's a movie that one of the first movies to do it was this Woody Allen film called What's Up, Tiger Lily? And he took this Chinese spy movie, right? And this is like in like the mid 60s. It's got all that old technology and stuff. And he voiced over it with these other people, and the whole script is about like they're looking for this formula for coleslaw, I think it is. Um, it's hilarious. It's really funny, man. The way he cut it up, and I mean, he didn't really cut it at all. He just had put a script in English behind it and did the voiceovers. It is a good idea.
Some of the funniest stuff is actually that there's an old anime called Shin-Chan that a bunch of Americans came and they voice-overed it with something that's totally unrelated to the story that's going on, but even the creators of the original animated series liked it better.
She laughed, homo, like all the others. Homo, like all the others. Oh, maybe that's the dog's name, Homo. She,
Perhaps, or
she
maybe
laughed,
they
Homo.
mean human. Homo as in human.
She laughed, Homo, just like all the others. So maybe he's got like some Joker gas or something that makes everybody laugh.
He was a comedian that was part of the act that
Ah,
the two of them had together, and he became very very famous and gained quite a bit of notoriety due to it.
yeah. It's like my mom used to tell me, don't do that. Your face will freeze that way. And I guess his did.
There was a I think 2013 remake of The Man Who Laughs, and they kind of stepped up the makeup and really made it look like a Glasgow smile. The makeup was very good. I'm not sure. It's a French film. It could be good.
But when you say Glasgow smile, you mean one that's done with a knife?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The one with the knife, because that is supposedly his deformity in the book, and I guess they just couldn't make it look convincing, so Chaney had to do it with his own skills.
Yeah. Brilliant. He used a lot of like really thin but really rigid wire, piano wire and stuff. And if you'll look, you can see where the wires like kind of just sticks out, and he was really talented with it. If you look at my avatar, you'll notice that the eyes are done by taking, he's got glass discs and you can barely see the edge of them, but that's the way he keeps those eyes open like that. Very talented. He used a lot of wire, like in the Phantom of the Opera. That's wire making his nose do what it did. And for when he did when he was the Hunchback of Notre Dame, he took a boiled egg and pulled the yolk out of it and used that for the eye. So it looks like this creepy eye thing. If you go look at some still pictures of it, you can see. And he coated it with rubber, right, with latex, so it would, it wouldn't go rotten or anything. And that's how he shot it. He was brilliant, man. And he died from asbestos. They made the snow in one of the movies that he was in out of asbestos powder.
So melanoma.
Right? And again, it got caught in his throat.
So
it got caught in his throat.
Yeah, and I apologize.
That looks great.
It does. And it's amazing that it's 1928, but even the production quality kind of holds up, considering the fact of what it was filmed on.
Oh yeah, and the cinematography is excellent because you have to rely on contrast to emphasize the whole composition of the frame. And I can tell. Do we know who photographed this, or do we know who directed it?
Director, let me look it up. I'm not sure. If I do, I don't remember. I'm not one of those people that remembers directors' names so much.
I want to say hey to Jacob Navo and Benny Hanna, gentlemen I recognize, and Uzi Q, my better half.
Oh, well, hello. Paul Lenny.
Paul Lenny. Why is that name familiar?
A German expressionist filmmaker.
How do you spell Lenny? L-E-N-N-I?
L-E-N-I.
Yeah.
Paul Lenny.
Paul Lenny. Yeah, you can see the German expressionist quality in it. All the great movies that were being done by the Germans, edgy, the Berlin School of, really it was a movement. It wasn't just art, but it was also writing, opera, music, and architecture. It was it encompassed all of that. And of course, by the late 30s, as the work became more expressionistic and instead of more impressionistic, it started being referred to, especially by the right wing, as being degenerate art. And that was one of the the pillars of the rise of the Nazi Party, was that this art is reflective of the degeneracy, and of course it blamed it all on the Jewish people, which had little to do with a lot of these directors and filmmakers were just straight Germans. They weren't, Jewish of Jewish background or, lineage. And, if they did, they weren't very religious. Most of them had converted to Christianity, and through marriage and stuff like that. There weren't a lot of practicing Jews that were active in the arts during this movement. But there were plenty that were in the country. It was just, it was really strange how they tried to pin, all the arts on it.
That tends to be the case. It's a lot of times during times like that, it's often the artists that go first.
Indeed, indeed.
The artists are easy targets.
Well, and they're the ones that are they're the consciousness. They're like our conscience when it comes to political chance taking, risk taking. Their work can become interpretive, and things can become like the whole Berlin, the German expressionists, Egon Schiele, the Austrian expressionists, all those guys, they started painting in metaphors, and a lot of it was, foresaw, what was coming. And there's one that he was Jewish, a Jewish painter, and I cannot think of his name. Was Max something. I'll look that up because he's very important. One of the greatest paintings I've ever seen in my life is at the Museum of Modern Art. German expressionists.
Now, for a moment there, the quality it has still dropped. It seems like the quality of film has dropped a little. I wonder if this is from a different reel. Like they've spliced it together.
Yeah,
I guess you get that a lot with the older ones. Is half of this one is good and half of this one is good. The rest is gone.
Yeah, well, yeah, they used a hand crank. They had a hand crank, to make the movie, so there wasn't, some machine to make sure that the speed was consistent, and of course the lighting. There was no way to gauge how the lighting was. So sometimes things were overlit, and this scene looks a little underlit to me. But but it looks great. Compositionally, it's very sound, I think.
For a moment, I noticed some white dots, which seems to be, I think the bulb burned it at some point. Just got a little too hot.
Oh, yeah. That happened a lot because of the cellulose. Max, I wanted to say Max Ernst. Ernst.
Malachite is saying he thinks you're talking about Max Beckmann.
Beckmann, yes. Exactly.
I'm trying to remember the name of a Spanish painter. Ugh. He painted this wonderful war scene, and I can't, for the life of
Picasso.
No.
Picasso's Guernica or Guernica. Yes. Brilliant with the horse. It's most people can tell it's the one with the horse. In the middle of it, that's screaming. The screaming horse of Guernica. Yes, Beckmann. Nice, Malachite. Thank you. Good catch. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the painting, but I literally turned a corner and this and it's a shame it's a triptych. Here it is. Yes.
Well, there's another with it's about the Spanish town that was taken over. I think it might even be a Catalonian town, and most of the men had died. So a woman in her gown actually took over a cannon. I'm trying to remember the name of that one because I quite like that painting as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know what you're talking about. But the painting I was referring to, the triptych, is called Departure. And I turned the corner, and this thing is like 14 feet tall by almost 30 feet wide. I'd only seen it in books and stuff. And it hit me like a like a 2x4 in my face. I mean, that's just the impact that it had on it. Is excellent, excellent painting. And there's all this symbology in it if you look at it, like tied hands that have been cut off behind the person's back, and all this, can be is the symbology meant specific things, and it was all a precursor to Nazism. They saw it coming. The clown Gwynplaine. Are you a clown? So you think I'm funny?
Do you want to know how I got these scars?
Yeah. Why so serious? Yeah, there's that Scottish actor that played Chibbs on Sons of Anarchy that had that he was Scottish, and he had gotten a Glasgow smile because they called him Pretty Boy before that. And if you'll notice, he's in like Gladiator. He's got those prominent scars, though. You can see them. They're very and I'm sure somebody in the chat will know his name as well. Hashtag UziQ.
We have 7 viewers currently.
That older guy, I've seen him in some other stuff too, in some stills for some other silent, and I've seen her. I think she's in Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, I think you might be right.
You know what I'm saying? That looks a lot like the lady in Phantom of the Opera.
That might be one of the ones I watch. I stream here next because that's a good silent one.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I love that.
It was Francisco de Goya.
Oh, yeah, Goya, of course, yes. Yeah, I actually did a paper on him. Towards the end of his life, he went deaf. He was a brilliant painter. A brilliant painter. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, one of my favorite paintings is, it's not even a painting, it's actually a drawing, is a woman manning the cannon, and there's literally like a pile of bodies underneath her, and it just kind of shows how desperate people get in times of war, that she would jump on the cannon in a full gown with her hair up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And look, in the movie, they're trying to keep up appearances for Dea.
Yeah, I'm looking at that drawing. Yeah, that's excellent. You're right. It's really good.
This movie is it gets so incredibly sad so quickly. They have all of them running about, calling his name, and he's not coming out.
Nice rhyme. I like that dissolve of the, of the two images kind of superimposed over each other. The transparency.
Mm-hmm.
You see, my mystery play. That's like Shakespeare.
Only better.
Only better. It's called Chaos Vanquished. And it ends in light and laughter and
a heart attack, possibly.
And in a death. You've seen this before.
Well, I mean, the story itself is pretty stock standard. It's just told very well.
Yeah, it is beautiful though. Golly, and you just look at once again, it's that composition and the contrast. It's just black and white as a medium is so hard to get right.
Mm. There's a
And
lot that can go wrong. All you need to do is pick the wrong background.
yeah, well, yeah, it is like Frank Miller, people like I'm thinking of like in the comics today, um, and Rodriguez's take on Miller's Sin City or something like that. There's not a lot of black and white stuff being made now, which is a shame because it really forces you into a box. You really have to, and you have to be able to, you have to be able to deliver. You just can't phone it in like they're doing so much in Hollywood. You actually have to think about, where the cameras are, where the light is.
Yes.
What the people are wearing.
When I watch something like this, or like Faust, or some of the really good silent films, you can see the energy and the emotion behind the actors' performances, and that's just not there anymore with most actors. And I don't even think it's necessarily that they're incapable of it. I just think that they're told not to. They're like, no, why would you overact? It's not overacting. It's putting everything into it. No, sometimes
Right.
it's overacting.
Well, I think there's like, um, God, that dude had a smug ass look on his face, didn't he?
Yes. I believe that is the judge. That is the judge. I'm sorry, I'm not talking into my mic.
It's cool. We all heard you. Why is she weeping? Is that they can't find Gwynplaine?
I think she's
I get-
starting to realize what happened.
Did he just like leave? I mean, was
He
that?
was
Did he just
arrested.
get on the train?
No,
What?
he was arrested.
Okay. Ah, okay. I get it now. I'm a little slow on the uptake.
Oh, don't worry, me too. And yes, she's just figured out what's happened, and there's a reason this is a melodrama.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was another thing about Chaney is that he did it all. He's mostly known for the horror, but he did. There's this one movie where he plays this deformed guy, and he's by a miracle he gets turned in, and the way he does it transformed his body and had the shoe turned around and stuff, so he really looked like he was twisted up. And then you see him miraculously become a cured man. And it was that was lauded as like almost magical. They said there had to be some kind of camera trickery used, and it was all him.
Mm-hmm.
This dude knew what he was doing. And then his son, Lon Chaney Jr. was like, I don't know, he was mediocre. He was at best, the Wolf Man. He was a drunk.
That was some big shoes to fill.
There were humongous shoes to fill. See, people don't understand that. Back during his time, he was one of the kings of Hollywood. It was him, Valentino, as the male actors. And see, I can't really name any of the females except maybe Mary Pickford. That's one that I recognize, and there's one other whose face I recognize. But see, this lady right here, I'm getting the impression, I think she's been in a bunch of stuff.
I'll have to look her up. Captain Confederate is mentioning that this is the movie that the Joker is based on, and I had said that Gwynplaine is his appearance is based on Gwynplaine, but the character Gwynplaine itself is very different from the Joker. He's
Right.
this is a melodrama. It's very it's a romance story. It's very Gwynplaine was someone who wanted to make people laugh and make people happy, and the Joker's very much not like that at all. Probably the opposite.
Yeah, and what it was that I think it was Bill Finger. Bob Kane claimed it so long, but Finger did had most of the ideas and did a lot of the art. Saw a poster for this movie, and that's what the Joker is based on. It was actually a painting of the character Gwynplaine from this movie. Mm-hmm. So it was, it's like multiple art, 3 times removed. The version of the character from the book painted on a movie poster, taken and then derived as into a comic book villain.
I hate to kill your mood, but I just looked up the IMDb. It's actually Gwynplaine is Conrad Veidt.
Conrad Veidt, yeah, that's his name. Yes, that's the dude.
Yes.
Oh shit! That's not Chaney.
No, and the actress is Mary Philbin, whose name I've actually heard before.
Yes, Mary Philbin. She's Regis Philbin's distant relative. That's right. That's the name. But this is Conrad Veidt. Is that what you just told me, girl?
I did.
Did you just tell me that was Conrad Veidt? Mm-hmm. I'm amazed. You are right. And so I'm like over here talking about how wonderful
I was enjoying the talk talent
Lon Chaney Sr. is. It's not even in the damn movie.
He may be the man of 1,000 faces, but he's not quite that good.
He's not the man of that face.
No.
Oh.
Let's see what else Conrad Veidt was in.
Oh. Yeah, he said Bob Kane just thought the dude looked interesting. Hey, Geek Thulu, man, what's happening? It's good to see you. Had fun.
This man has 119 credits.
Yeah, he was been in all kinds of stuff, man. Conrad Veidt, and he did like German voiceovers, like German accented voiceovers in early cartoons too. So yeah, he made the transition from from silent to talkies. One of the few.
But he did pass away at 50.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a lot of credits for someone who died at 50.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. That is amazing.
But the actress,
this is a
Mary
beautiful
Philbin,
film.
Mary Philbin, I'm not surprised. She's got quite a few credits to her name. I mean, even for the time period, 34 is a lot, considering most people weren't serious actors.
Yes.
If you want to be a serious actor, you were on Broadway.
Yep. You did right. You did stage. Correct. This was seen as yes. She was in Phantom of the Opera. I knew it.
Opposite Chaney.
At least I got something right.
I got it wrong too.
There's Tennessee, buddy. What's up?
What else? I don't recognize anything else that she was in though, besides those two. Hello, Tennessee Marine.
Yeah, it's kind of cool using the silent films on this deal with the OBS because talkies have a tendency to robot, and if this stuff roboted, we wouldn't. It's a lot better. This is a lot better medium for silent films than it is for talkies.
The audio for talkies already started out atrociously bad. This will only make it worse. Though some of them have been voiced over again in modern time, I think. People have gone through and rewritten the scripts and re-voice-overed everything just to make it sound more listenable.
Yeah, look at, I want to look at that. You said it was a 2013 remake?
I think it's 2013. It's a French remake as well, which is probably why I missed it. But it had Gerard Depardieu, who's
La
a decent actor.
Honquerie, 2012.
2012. My mistake.
Yeah, L'Homme, L'Enquerie. During the reign of King James II, 1685 to 1688, a proud noble refuses to kiss his hand. Ah, this is great. Oh, great eyes. Yeah, they gave him the Glasgow smile. Oh my God, look at these pictures. This looks fantastic. Holy shit.
It's beautiful.
This might be worth seeing here, too.
Just for the visuals, it might be worth seeing.
I'm so down with French shit right now. It is not even funny, man. Everything that's coming out of France, especially their horror, is just off the chain insane shit. Like I was talking to you earlier about that movie Raw. That's available on Netflix now. If you have a Netflix account, look up the movie Raw. It's in French. Read the fucking subtitles. You know, get over it if you can. Because man, that is a fucked up movie, man, and you will thank me. And if you don't like it, you can tell me what an idiot I am, because that's a great film, and the director is a woman, and it's her first movie.
Oh, that's impressive, because I was watching the trailer saying this looks really good. This is her first film.
Her out of the box first fucking movie. Yeah.
Wow.
So. And
I'm impressed that I've only saw the trailer.
You watch that movie, and if you don't like it, you can berate me for 2 hours on stream on here on YouTube.
I will.
Right?
I will have an entire stream dedicated to yelling at Prostate.
That's right. You can cuck me up. Say Outlaw Wolf, Wolf Wolf girl. What's happening?
Yee yee. Tennessee Marine is like they are the yin to each other's yang. Speaking of Joker and Gwynplaine, and that's pretty true.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Gwynplaine was more of a benevolent character. It seems like to me. He's like he's a lover. He's got a really overwhelmed heart.
Yes, and I don't think Joker's capable of feeling anything.
He doesn't give a shit. That's one thing that's really fun about the Joker. No matter who's doing him, and I really love Luke Skywalker's version. Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
I like Luke Skywalker's version. Yes. Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah. If anyone ever asks you
cartoon,
who's the best Joker, Mark Hamill. He never played Joker.
Right.
He voiced him. It's the best version.
He's fantastic.
I apologize for nothing.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's really good. But I loved Ledger's take on it. That was just so powerful, and that that one videotape, and I'm a man of my word.
That's a close second, as best.
Yeah, that scene he shot. That's what got him the movie. He literally shot something almost identical to that, and handed that in as his God, I'm losing words now, as his whatever they call it when you do a test to get the movie part. So that thing, audition.
Yes.
Thank you.
Audition reel.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is yelling.
That's all he did.
Hallway. What the fuck is going on? Apologies. Jack Nicholson is my third for best Joker, simply because I love the camp.
Yeah, that was at the time he did it. That was awesome. I mean, I remember sitting in the theater just going, "Dude, that is so insane." And I love the scene where he like gives the guy to give him his gun, and he just shoots him with it. Man, that is really good random Joker shit.
I will be right back. I apologize. There is some weirdness going on my back porch.
Yeah. Yeah, but the classic Joker, yeah, I'll keep talking. The classic Joker is real thin, and he plays along that spidery quality that's kind of implied in the original version of the Joker. The original Red Hood. He falls into the chemicals and comes out with a face that only a mother could love. So, Bob Gunn. That's it, man. Oh, that was excellent. Excellent show. Yeah. Leto's Joker, I mean, I think if they'd have let him have a little more time, like as in time on camera, I think we would have been happy with it. But what they did show us, I mean, it made him look like a punk. I mean, that whoever told the editor to edit like it was, I mean, they had a hard on for that dude, didn't they? Oh yeah, the Arkham games are perfect, man. That is the perfect Joker. With Hamill's voice, exactly. Batman.
I have no idea what was going on.
Yeah. Well, that makes two of us.
The upsides of living.
Yeah, I agree with Geek Thula. If we had gotten to see, more of Leto's Joker, I think that unexpected, that unpredictability would have really come out more solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But they supposedly cut out 35 minutes of just him. So you can imagine, what they did. So that was the studio, from what I gathered.
Do you think that Jared Leto's could have, it was probably a better Joker than we thought it was, but it was just they cut out so much of it?
They should have just cut out that whole fucking June Moon bullshit and they just made the Joker the bad guy. I mean, that was fucking, you talk about horrible. That whole movie was perfect in places. And then that ending with that creature thing with the brother and all that crap. It was like, what is this? It's turned into a bad mummy remake, I was
we already have one of those.
I know, exactly, man. It was like the mummies running around. Remember in the second Mummy, with all the mummies running around shit? That's what I was like, this is a total ripoff of that, man.
Oh, God. Captain Confederate said, and remember, Bob, you are my number one guy.
You're my number one guy. Yeah.
Geek Thulu thinks Suicide Squad is better after the second watch. Well, maybe once you got over the initial shock.
Yeah, and you get the longer version. It's like even with that longer version, there's still a lot to be, that needs to be worked on. But yeah, I agree. I like Leto's. I like the idea. I like the tattoos. I thought that, punking him out, but I got the feeling he's going to be Jason Todd. I think that's what they were going to do with that.
I see.
What do you think, Justice League? How was it, Gee? GT, tell us, man. I've heard mixed reviews myself.
Is saying he saw Punisher. No spoilers. I want to see it too.
That first episode is fucking off the chain, perfect Punisher. Yeah, I will not opine on the rest that I've seen. I've seen up to episode 11. So I've got the last 3 episodes to go.
Lovely. I'm going to be very upset if I have to stop the stream because my neighbors are fighting. Hang on, they're back in the hallway again.
I don't get the camera and let's watch that.
Right.
Oh, Yeah, fuck YouTube drama. Let's get some real drama going on, you know?
I'm half afraid of this shot. Not even yelling in English.
No. Where are they from?
Poland. Dripping Teeth is asking what movie is that in the background. That is The Man Who Laughs. You may have either seen it before, taken any film class ever, or have seen it mentioned in any kind of countdown related to the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it is well documented and used. You can tell from just looking at the composition alone that this director looks a lot like I'm going to say this reminds me of this looks like M. This is reminding me of the M with Peter Lorre. Let me look up and see who that director is.
Aye.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull them up on here on Wiki and Wikipedia. Yeah.
Oh, he said Malachite's saying in Metropolis. Oh, I got to watch Metropolis. I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's a classic. You've got to. We can do that one. I'll do that one with you too, because that's worth it, and it clocks in about an hour and a half to 2 hours too. It's worth it. It's really cool. Okay, it's all right. The Victor Hugo's the guy that wrote the book. In case you didn't know that.
Oh, I did, yes.
Okay. Directed by Paul Lenny, and that name I've got to see what he's done because there's something that. All right. Ausgusta Gestosner.
I'm
the Panzergewölbe.
Hello, Red Robot.
Panzergewölbe.
German words.
Yeah.
German always seems like a language that should be easy to pronounce things, but it's just not.
All right, so
what is this thing? I don't know. It's called
German.
It's 7 fucking syllables long. Oh, it means bathroom. That's German in a nutshell.
Badzimmer is bathroom.
It was German.
Blosenkönig, something king. The clothes king, probably. Blusen. Intoxication. Let's see. White peacock. There's something that.
Sorrow bacon. Sorrow bacon is like when you're depressed about something and then you just eat and eat and eat.
Sorrow bacon. Wir haben Sorrow bacon heute. Ein Spanner nur Nummer 13. Yeah, see, none of these movies. Okay, let's see afterwards. Okay, as director. All right.
We should do more. Historical movies is fun. I'm having fun.
House of Wax, the original feature that House of Wax was stolen from. This dude did it. That's what it is. It's called Waxworks. And then Universal, he did the Cat and the. Oh my God, he did the Cat and the Canary, the Chinese Parrot. Of course, I don't know what that is, but and then the Man Who Laughs, and then the last movie he did was The Last Warning.
I would love to do the original House of Wax as well, because that was pretty good as well.
Oh yeah, I like the 50s too, man, with Vincent Price. That was really a good movie. I love Vincent Price's voice.
I was about to say, Vincent Price, it instantly makes anything more class.
Oh, you have got to see. Oh my God, The Abominable Dr. Phibes and Dr. Phibes Rises Again. Theater of Blood. I mean, there's these great movies he made in the 70s that, nobody probably would recognize. Yeah. All right. So Waxworks, silent fantasy horror film. Um, yeah, a writer accepts a job from a Waxworks proprietor to write a series of stories about the exhibits. And one's, oh, wow, this isn't House of Wax. This is something else.
Red Robot, you named your Malkavian character Dr. Fives. Malkavians! Oh, there's a clan I haven't heard of in an age. Ah.
The Abominable Dr. Fives is a movie from, I'm going to say 1970. What is Malkavian? Tell me about that.
Malkavian is a clan of vampires from a thing called World of Darkness, also known as Looking Glass Theater, which is a role-play system.
Ah.
It's kind of an older one. Almost goes back, I think, to the 80s. But
to the 1880s, the 1680s,
no, the 80s,
the 1980s.
80s, the kind with neon and big hair. 80s.
Oh, with Bauhaus. Have you ever heard of that band?
Bauhaus. Yes.
Bela Lugosi's dead.
I've played the newer version.
You ever seen the movie The Hunger? Speaking of excellent, great vampire movies with David Bowie.
I have not. I should see it. Simply because of the David Bowie.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody's got a thing for 80s, what word am I looking for? I don't know. Fuck.
Geek Through Vampire the Masquerade started in the 90s, but I think Looking Glass Theater was a bit earlier than that. Yes, Looking Glass was for live-action RP, but Malkavians were... this is how much of a geek for this game I am. Malkavians were introduced in Looking Glass Theater, so I'm technically correct. It's the best kind of correct. I still have a copy of Looking Glass Theater. It's hard to find. I don't think it's in reprint yet.
So, folks in the audience, what do you think about this combination of me sitting aside Lady Thorne here and talking about horror silent films? If you like it, hit 1.
Yes.
If you don't like it, hit 2.
If you don't like it, hit nothing, because I'm going to do it anyway.
I don't know if I can commit to every Monday, but I can definitely do it at least twice a week.
Ah, we have
twice a month. I don't know. I can try to figure it out.
Finis. There we are. There's your cast of characters. I've frozen it on the screen if you want to look up any of the actors and see what they've been in. But that is the end of the movie. Yes.
Yeah, that Call of Cthulhu movie that's silent is, I think that's still under copyright, and I don't think we'd be able to use it.
I looked it up. It's under copyright by Warner Brothers, of all people.
Oh, fuck them. Jesus.
They put it in some kind of horror special. They've been renewing the fucking thing for years. Every time it comes up, they renew it. But anything that is older than 1923 will always be copyright free. You cannot copyright anything earlier than 1923. Yeah. The problem being, everything pre-1923 is mostly garbage. Mostly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trash. We could watch some of the garbage ones. That would be funny.
I don't know. I like a lot of its stuff is pretty good, but you know, I think the there's like 75 years where you can like milk a copyright now.
No, Malachi said garbage or lost. Yeah, or just like gone altogether.
Yeah, exactly. That cellulose, man.
Especially it was just horror. There's not a lot of horror from before 1923. I think I've seen a few talkies that have lost their audio tracks that are pretty good, but you kind of got to fill in the blanks for those.
Yeah, I like I'm a big fan of Nosferatu, and they're doing a third remake of it, or a second remake. I can't remember what it is, but the version with Klaus Kinski is quite excellent, I think. And the silent version, of course, is the classic, and nobody will be able to top that one. And there's all in Murnau. And what was that movie called that was done in the 90s that was about the making of Nosferatu, where the guy that plays the vampire was actually a real vampire? It's a comedy. It's funny as shit. John Malkovich plays Murnau. And so he has to deal with this actor that keeps, draining the rest of the actor's blood out of them. So they start dying as the movie is being made, right? It is hilarious.
Fantastic. Someone said Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah, and Willem Dafoe is the vampire.
I think
so. I mean, think about it. You got Malkovich and Dafoe, and Eddie Izzard. He's in it too, as a matter of fact. Am I incorrect, guys? Let me know. I'm not looking at IMDb, so I'm just trying to. I actually can remember shit.
Yeah, Max Schreck. About White Wolf.
Well, the name Schreck in German actually means terror or horror, right? Like they had this thing called a Panzerschreck towards the end of the war, which was a tank killer. So the Schreck, Max Schreck, isn't a real name. Exactly. Red Robot has got it perfect. So yeah, he's spot the frack on. Excellent job, Red Robot. Dripping Teeth says, my apologies, but is this channel horror or just general film? This is the first time watching anything from here.
Well, I would love to cover only horror films, the problem being that many of the silent ones are not within public domain. And the rest actually have audio that I don't want to talk over. So I've just been doing a general film for now. Some silent film, just something that folks can unwind with and get away from all the drama that's been happening on YouTube as of late. So there was that. I wanted to use The Man Who Laughs as my first movie, which is a melodrama, because as we have said several times, Gwynplaine inspired the Joker, who is one of the best comic book villains of all time, if not the best, or at least the most famous.
Yep. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yes.
Yep.
I am. However, all of my freeform content will be horror and horror-related things, but my streams will vary a little bit.
Well, I dug it. I had a good time.
Yes, I did too. I hope that everyone who's joined us for this viewing has had a good time, with the exception of my neighbors who are yelling in the hallway.
That's right. Well, if you can film them killing each other, we'll watch that next week and comment on. That'll be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I'd be down for that.
Would you like to go? Would you like to go? Shield yourself while I go find my phone and film a murder?
Go for it. Know me as Irate Prostate. I'm doing the channel thing here, man. I got a channel, so I'm going to pimp it out. Sub me if you haven't, please. Sub this person right here. Lady Thorne is excellent. She's quite lovely person, very intelligent, bright as the brightest light in the sky. But if you want, I'm pimping my stuff. So you go to my channel, you'll see I do all kinds of things. I do a thing called the Cream Stream every Friday night. Also, Shitface Alex Jones, who's passed out on my couch right now, has been taking my stuff and using things. So he likes to talk about things that are, related to Alex Jonesy kind of shit. So, I mean, what more can you say about that? And Thursday, Thanksgiving Day on the afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central, and 1 o'clock Pacific, I will be talking with Christopher Worski, the better-looking Worski brother,
Mm.
And we're going to talk about our experiences working in the psychiatric field, and him being Canadian and me being American. We will have some diverging experiences, I'm sure, and then of course, the madness that is working in the psych field will
Really, any health
make
field.
itself known. Exactly. Yeah, really. And I'm really excited about that. I'm tickled that he said yes, when I asked him to do this. So I'm very happy, man.
Yes.
And occasionally I'll do the devil's advocate with Red and Mercolium. So um, sub everybody, sub me, Lady Thorn, sub all of our friends.
Mm-hmm.
If we're sub to them, they're happening.
Oh, and
Sub your. Go ahead.
sub Bloodwing. Oh, you're echoing.
And sub yourself.
Yes, sub
And,
yourself.
and,
Sub Bloodwing, because he's going to be on my show at some point to talk about the time he met a serial killer.
oh, sweet. Yeah, Bloodwing's an awesome guy. He's an old timer around here. I'm old like he is, but he's been around YouTube very long time. He has got lots of wisdom.
Yeah, he's old as dirt.
Yes.
He's wonderful.
Yes, and also Geek Thulu. So everybody, say hey to Geek Thulu. He's awesome. He's awesome, man. So, and we had fun.
All right. Yes, that has been Dead After Dark. Keep a watch out on Twitter for the next announcement. I do want to get this on a schedule, but I can't as of yet. I'm trying for Sunday at midnight. Keep an eye out for more announcements, and it's been lovely. Goodbye.